Do you ever feel like you're shrinking? Like the man you used to be is slowly fading away, replaced by someone weaker, slower, less sharp? Do you find yourself accepting aches, stiffness, or a general lack of energy as just part of getting older? Almost like a pre-written script you have to follow. It's a painful reality that many men over 60 face. You might look in the mirror and not quite recognize the vitality you once knew, or feel a pang of sadness when you remember how effortlessly you used to move, think, or connect. Perhaps you've even heard well-meaning friends or family say, "Oh, that's just age," when you mention a new struggle, cementing this idea that decline is inevitable. It's a heavy burden. Isn't it this feeling that your best years are behind you, and there's nothing left but to manage the decline? But what if I told you that much of what you've been led to believe about aging as a man is simply not true? What if those so-called facts about life after 60 are actually just pervasive myths? And by buying into them, you're unwittingly holding yourself back from years, even decades, of robust health, energy, and joy. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on 3 of the most damaging male myths that plague men over 60, myths that doctors know are often just plain wrong. We'll show you why they're false and, more importantly, what you can actively do to defy them, reclaiming your strength, your sharp mind, and your zest for life. Watch to the end for something that will truly surprise you about your potential. Let's dive right into the first big myth. One that quietly chips away at so many men's confidence and quality of life. The idea that physical strength and muscle loss are an inevitable, irreversible part of aging. And that after 60, you're simply too old to build muscle, too old to get strong, too old to truly change your physical self. You might feel it in your own body right now. That nagging sense that you're getting weaker. That simple tasks like carrying groceries, getting up from a chair, or even opening a jar are becoming harder. Maybe you've stopped playing a sport you loved, or you hesitate before tackling home improvement projects because you're worried about your strength or balance. This belief that you're on an unavoidable downward slope to frailty is incredibly damaging, not just to your body, but to your spirit. It leads to a sedentary lifestyle, which then accelerates the very decline you fear, creating a vicious cycle. Doctors have a term for age-related muscle loss, sarcopenia. And yes, it is a natural process that begins even in our 30s. But here's the powerful, life-changing truth that many men don't realize. Sarcopenia is absolutely not irreversible. And it's far from inevitable that you'll become frail. In fact, your muscles, even in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, retain a remarkable capacity to respond to stimulus, to grow stronger, and to rebuild. This isn't just about looking good, though that's a nice bonus. It's about maintaining your independence, your balance, preventing falls, keeping your metabolism humming, and preserving your bone density. It's about having the energy to play with your grandchildren, to travel, to pursue hobbies, and to simply live life on your own terms without physical limitations holding you back. So, how do you debunk this myth and reclaim your physical power? The answer, unequivocally, is strength training. And no, that doesn't mean you have to hit the gym like a bodybuilder or lift incredibly heavy weights right away. It means engaging your muscles against resistance. For a beginner, this can be as simple as bodyweight exercises, squats using a chair for support, wall push-ups, or step-ups onto a low stair. You could use resistance bands, which are portable, inexpensive, and offer a great way to challenge your muscles without putting undue stress on your joints. As you get stronger, you can gradually introduce light dumbbells, or even use household items like water bottles or cans. The key is consistency and progressive overload. Consistency means doing it regularly, ideally 2 to 3 times a week, allowing your muscles time to recover and rebuild in between sessions. Progressive overload means gradually increasing the challenge as you get stronger, adding more repetitions, more sets, slightly heavier weight, or more challenging variations of an exercise. Your muscles need a reason to grow, and that reason is being challenged beyond their current capacity. It's truly amazing to see men in their 70s and 80s, who once believed they were destined for weakness, transform their bodies through consistent strength training. They often report feeling decades younger, with more energy, better sleep, and a profound sense of accomplishment. But building muscle isn't just about lifting. Your muscles need fuel, and that fuel is primarily protein. Many older adults don't consume enough protein, especially high-quality protein. Aim for about 25–30 grams of protein at each main meal. Think lean meats like chicken or fish, eggs, dairy products like Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, lentils, beans, and tofu. These provide the amino acids your body needs to repair and build new muscle tissue after your workouts. Staying well hydrated is also crucial for muscle function and recovery. And finally, don't underestimate the power of rest. Your muscles actually grow and repair when you're resting, not when you're working out. Ensure you're getting adequate, quality sleep. So, the myth that you're too old to be strong is just that, a myth. Your body is capable of incredible things at any age, if you give it the right stimulus and fuel. Now that we've cleared up the truth about your physical strength, let's tackle another area where many men feel defeated and resigned to decline their mental sharpness. Now that we've cleared up the truth about your physical strength and debunked the idea that physical decline is inevitable, let's tackle another area where many men feel defeated and resigned to decline the myth that your brain is just going to decline. Your memory will fade, and there's nothing you can do about it. This is a particularly frightening myth for many. Isn't it the fear of forgetting names, losing your train of thought, misplacing things constantly, or worst of all, losing your independence because your mind isn't as sharp as it once was? You might experience moments of senior moments and immediately jump to the conclusion that it's the beginning of the end, that your once keen intellect is slowly but surely slipping away, and you just have to accept it. This belief can lead to withdrawal, a reluctance to engage in mentally stimulating activities, and a general sense of hopelessness about your cognitive future. But here's the incredibly empowering truth that neuroscientists have discovered: your brain, unlike a machine that simply wears out, possesses an amazing quality called neuroplasticity. This means your brain is capable of forming new neural connections, adapting, and even growing new brain cells throughout your entire life. Regardless of your age, it's not a static organ. It's dynamic, and it responds to how you use it. So, the idea that memory loss and cognitive decline are an unavoidable destination is simply not true. While some changes in processing speed are natural, significant decline is often a result of lifestyle, not just age itself. To keep your mind sharp and defy this myth, the key is consistent mental stimulation. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. But if you challenge it, it grows stronger. So, what does this look like in practice? Firstly, embrace learning new skills. This doesn't mean going back to school, though if that appeals to you, go for it. It could be learning a new language, even just a few phrases a day, picking up a new musical instrument, learning to paint, taking a cooking class, or mastering a new computer program or a new hobby. The act of grappling with new information and forming new pathways is incredibly beneficial. Secondly, engage in activities that require problem-solving and critical thinking. This could be daily crossword puzzles, Sudoku, strategic board games or card games, or even just planning complex trips or projects. Reading widely and discussing what you read with others is also a fantastic brain booster. The more you challenge your brain to think, analyze, and create, the more resilient and sharper it becomes. Beyond direct mental exercises, lifestyle factors play an enormous role in cognitive health. Sleep, for example, is when your brain cleanses itself and consolidates memories. Chronic sleep deprivation is a known enemy of a sharp mind. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. Stress management is another critical component. Chronic stress releases hormones that can actually damage brain cells over time. Finding healthy ways to manage stress, whether through meditation, spending time in nature, pursuing hobbies, or simply deep breathing exercises, is vital. Your diet also fuels your brain. A diet rich in antioxidants, healthy fats like those found in olive oil, avocados, and fatty fish, and whole grains, similar to a Mediterranean-style diet, has been shown to support cognitive function. Think plenty of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and lean proteins. And remember what we discussed about physical activity. It's not just good for your muscles, it's phenomenal for your brain. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients, and even stimulates the growth of new brain cells. Even a brisk daily walk can make a significant difference. Lastly, social engagement is a powerful antidote to cognitive decline. Interacting with others, having meaningful conversations, and staying connected to your community keeps your mind active and stimulated, challenging your thoughts and perspectives. So, put that myth of inevitable mental decline to rest. Your brain is a lifelong learner, and it's never too late to enhance its power and preserve your memory. But now, let's move on to perhaps the most sensitive, yet incredibly common, myth that men over 60 face, one that often brings with it feelings of embarrassment, shame, and isolation. This is the myth that your sex life is effectively over, or at best, it's a distant memory of what it once was. This myth, that your sex life is effectively over or drastically diminished after 60, often carries a profound emotional weight for men. It's a quiet source of anxiety, a feeling of loss, and sometimes, a barrier to intimacy in relationships that have lasted decades. The prevailing narrative whispers that erections become impossible, desire vanishes, and the very concept of a fulfilling sex life belongs firmly in your younger years. Many men internalize this, leading to feelings of inadequacy, a reluctance to even try, and a silent acceptance that this fundamental aspect of human connection is simply no longer for them. This can put a strain on partnerships, create distance, and diminish overall life satisfaction. But as a doctor, I can tell you this myth is profoundly misleading and often entirely false. While it's true that your body experiences changes with age, just as it does at every stage of life, the idea that a fulfilling, intimate, and even sexual life ends at 60 is a disservice to men and their partners. Intimacy evolves. Yes, but it absolutely does not have to disappear. In fact, for many couples, the later years can offer a new depth of connection, free from the pressures and anxieties of youth, allowing for a more profound and satisfying form of intimacy. The key to debunking this myth lies in understanding two things. Firstly, that changes are normal and manageable. And secondly, that intimacy is far broader than just intercourse. Let's address the physical aspects first. Erectile dysfunction, or ED, becomes more common with age, often due to underlying health conditions like heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, or even certain medications. However, ED is very often treatable. This isn't something you just have to live with. The first crucial step is to talk to your doctor. They can identify any underlying medical conditions, review your medications, and discuss a range of effective treatment options, from oral medications to other therapies. Many men are surprised by how straightforward and successful these interventions can be. Beyond specific medical treatments, adopting a healthy lifestyle, which we've touched upon already, plays a colossal role. What's good for your heart is good for your penis. Regular physical activity, a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, maintaining a healthy weight, quitting smoking, and moderating alcohol intake can significantly improve erectile function and overall sexual health by improving circulation and general well-being. Think about it. Robust blood flow is essential for erections, and lifestyle factors directly impact that. Beyond physical health, communication with your partner is paramount. The silence around this topic is often more damaging than any physical change. Openly discussing your feelings, any anxieties, and your desires with your partner can alleviate pressure and foster deeper intimacy. It allows you both to explore new ways to connect and express affection. Intimacy isn't solely about penetration. It encompasses affection, touch, emotional closeness, shared experiences, and communication. Holding hands, cuddling, massages, foreplay, mutual masturbation, and simply being present and vulnerable with each other are all vital components of a rich, intimate life. Exploring different forms of touch and pleasure can open up entirely new avenues of satisfaction for both partners. It allows you to redefine what sex means for you in this stage of life, focusing on connection and pleasure rather than performance. Another often overlooked aspect is pelvic floor exercises, sometimes known as Kegel exercises for men. Strengthening these muscles can improve erectile function and ejaculatory control. A simple routine of contracting and relaxing these muscles can yield surprising benefits over time. Hormonal health, particularly testosterone levels, can also be a factor. While testosterone naturally declines with age, a low level isn't automatically the cause of all sexual issues. Your doctor can test your levels and discuss whether hormone replacement therapy is appropriate for you, weighing the benefits against any potential risks. It's a nuanced discussion and not a universal solution, but it's an option to explore if your levels are clinically low and you have symptoms. Ultimately, the myth that your sex life ends after 60 is a disempowering narrative. Your capacity for intimacy, pleasure, and connection is a lifelong journey. By addressing any physical health concerns with your doctor, embracing a healthy lifestyle, openly communicating with your partner, and broadening your definition of intimacy, you can ensure your sex life continues to be a fulfilling and joyful part of your life, regardless of your age. Remember, the goal is not to turn back the clock to your 20s, but to embrace a vibrant, active, and satisfying life right now, in your 60s and beyond. So, we've talked about how your body isn't destined to crumble, your mind isn't doomed to fade, and your intimate life is far from over. We've gone through these 3 pervasive myths: that physical decline is unavoidable, that cognitive sharpness must diminish, and that your sex life is behind you. Each of these myths, when believed, acts like an invisible chain, holding you back from truly living and enjoying your later years. But as we've explored, these chains are forged from misunderstanding, not from unalterable biological facts. Your muscles can get stronger, your brain can forge new connections, and your capacity for intimacy and joy remains. You see, the biggest surprise I want you to take away from this isn't a magic pill or a secret exercise. It's the profound power of belief and action. The real surprise is how deeply interconnected these myths are, and how simply understanding and actively debunking them can unlock a holistic transformation that's more powerful than any single habit. When you start strengthening your body, you're not just building muscle, you're boosting blood flow to your brain, improving your mood, enhancing your sleep, and even subtly improving your intimate life. When you challenge your mind with new learning, you're not only sharpening your memory, you're engaging socially, reducing stress, and often leading a more physically active life. And when you address concerns about intimacy, whether physical or emotional, you're often also taking steps towards better overall health and deeper emotional connections, which in turn benefit your mind and body. The surprise is that by tackling these myths head-on, you're not just improving one area of your life, you're igniting a ripple effect that touches every part of your being, creating a virtuous cycle of well-being that truly defies age. It's the realization that you are not powerless against the perceived ravages of time. You hold the reins. It all boils down to an active choice to live differently, to push back against these limiting beliefs. It's not about grand, overwhelming changes. It's about small, consistent steps. It's about choosing to lift those light weights, even when you feel tired. It's about picking up that book or learning that new skill, even if it feels challenging at first. It's about having an honest conversation with your doctor or your partner, even if it feels a little uncomfortable. Every single one of these actions, no matter how small, is a direct challenge to the myth that you are too old. Every step you take is a reaffirmation of your vitality, your capability, and your inherent worth. So, please, don't let these outdated narratives define your future. You are not too old to thrive, to grow, to learn, to love, and to experience life with zest and energy. The decade of your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond can be incredibly rich and fulfilling, perhaps even more so than previous decades, because you bring wisdom, experience, and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. Embrace this stage of life with curiosity and a willingness to explore your own incredible potential. I truly hope this conversation has given you some valuable insights and, more importantly, a renewed sense of empowerment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you personally faced any of these myths? What steps have you taken to defy them? Share your experiences and advice in the comments below, because your story could be just the inspiration someone else needs. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more men who need to hear this message. And if you want more practical, doctor-debunked advice to live your best life at every age, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Remember, your age is just a number. Your spirit, your potential, and your capacity for a full and vibrant life are limitless. Go out there and live your best life at every age.